Hi, this is Dennis with Second Chance Tackle. I'm going to continue on a series that I kind of add to every now and then. It's why fishing reels fail. And this reel came to me from Dan. Dan's out in California. And he sent it to me because, well, it's just not working. It only has about a half a stroke here. And that's kind of unusual. Something is impacting this. And we're going to find out what it is, what's caused this reel to fail. This is a Shimano FX200, very popular reel. Dan also sent, when he sent it in, the top button mechanism and the spool itself wasn't working. So being an FX200, well, I didn't have a replacement spool, but the spool had to be replaced. I found the AX200 is an identical spool. So understand that even though you might have some branding differences on those spools, oftentimes they are interchangeable with the Shimano quick fire bait casting kind of reels, or spin cast reels. All right, let's get started and see what's going on here. I'm going to take the spool off. And as I do, I want to point out a couple of things. I wear a protective glove on my hand. That helps keep the greases and stuff off my hand. I use a parts tray, so all the pieces and parts that I take off, I go into a parts tray. You'll see that now, but it'll be off camera during the use. And I always try to do it from removing the exterior pieces and parts first, and then moving over to the body. So I'll take the handle out by removing the side plate screw on this side, pull it through because it has a through handle. I'm going to put that screw right back in here, the little button cap, so I don't lose it later on. Well, while I'm doing this, I want to encourage you to subscribe to my channel if you like the art of reel repair, if you want to see how reels are made, if you want to understand how they work, and if you have a reel that is broken or just needs service and you don't know how to do it, well, if you look in my library, there's a chance that I've done your reel. And if I haven't done your reel and you're interested in seeing it done, well, if I have one in my shop, I would be happy to try and do that reel for you and to add it to my library. Best way to know when I do those reels is to subscribe to my channel and click that notification button, and you'll see when I post, what I post, and you'll be able to make a determination as to whether that's something that interests you. I'm taking the 4 side plate screws out now, and I'm laying them on the table. And I lay them on the table to make sure that those side plate screws all have the same thread and are all the same length and are all the same diameter. If I notice that there's one that's different, and Shimano is kind of known for this, if I notice that there's one or more that are different, I note the location of it so that when I go to reinstall the reel, I can put them back in its proper position. I also take pictures along the way. Those pictures are the video here. You don't need to take a video, but I do recommend that when you come to critical parts of the assembly that you go in and you take a look to make sure that you have a picture that captures the positions and the orientation and the way that the internals look, or whatever part you're working on, so that when you go to reinstall, well, you know where it is. Those 4 pieces come off. That's the internal side case. It has a bushing on it, not a bearing, and it's in the case. If you manage to take this bushing out, I'm just going to push that out for a moment. If you manage to take this bushing out, notice that it has 2 tabs, one on each side, 180 degrees apart, and that there are 2 slots in this side case. There's one over here and one over here. So that tells you when you go to reinstall this bushing, if it's been laying on your table, it can't go this way. It has to go where the tabs are facing in, and it must go into those 2 slots. If you did not install it that way, you probably would be able to get the reel case back on, and then you would have a very sluggish reel. So the tabs are only halfway on the bushing. They belong on the top inner side, and they belong in those slots. So that's a good place to take a picture so you know what's going on. All right, well, we removed the handle, but we still seem to have that issue. We're getting stuck here. It's just not completing the full revolution. And this is a way that you want to diagnose your reel. You want to say, okay, was it something in the case? Well, you've eliminated the case. Okay, we should be able to remove the, I'm not sure if we're going to be able to do this. We're going to try. Most of the time you can't get that gear out. Nope, you can't. All right, so below here is a clip that's holding on an axle shaft, this shaft, that goes between the main gear and the gear that drives the oscillation gear. So we're going to have to remove that clip first. We do that by removing the hold down screw in the clip in that crosswind block. And then there's a little C-clamp, but it's got two sides to it. One goes high, one goes low. And you want to slip that out. So this is what I was referring to on that clip. You can see it here. It's kind of got a double layer to it. And I'm going to take those two pieces, put them into my box. Next, I'm going to hold that crosswind block and pull out the axle shaft. And that's got some grease on it, so I'm just going to use a paper towel or something to grip it better. Okay, I've been struggling with this, but I just noticed something. I'm turning the rotor, and the reel is performing beautifully, but the axle shaft isn't going up and down. Now, it wouldn't be going up and down because I removed that clip, and that clip is going to tie to this crosswind block that goes up and down. So that tells me in my diagnosis then that this axle shaft is frozen. It's not working in that rear drag assembly. So what we're going to do two things. We're going to remove that rear drag assembly. By taking off the screw. And there you have the adjuster cap. Then this should come down. And then there should be a horseshoe clip. And this is a good place to take the pictures again. There's a horseshoe clip here now. Okay, with a little patience and persistence, you can get that clip out. And I'm going to take those pieces and put those into the tray. Now you should be able to remove the tension assembly. And we're still trying to figure out why we can't get this axle shaft out. It's still stuck, and you can see all the corrosion that's going on in here. And again, we're just going to get all kinds of salt and something underneath the spring here. So we want to just keep moving this until we can free up the piece. And you can see that piece is moving up and down now inside the case, but it's frozen. And that's a spring assembly. Very interesting. I'll just try a couple of different types of tools here to get that out. There we go. The spring is out now. And we still have an issue here where we can see that the axle shaft is frozen. So this isn't something that we can continue on right now. We're going to take our WD-40 or any penetrating oil. We're just going to load that up. We're just going to take a break in the action here because we got to let that stuff sit, work its way in, and try and work that out. Okay, so this has been sitting for about 25 minutes now, and I'm going to grab a pick, a nail punch, to line up with the bottom of this axle shaft. And I'm just going to use the gentle tapping on the bench to see if we can't move it that way. Yep, there we go. So we got it free. So lots of patience. Here we go. Here's the drag assembly now. We can see that this one's pretty much toast. This has got a broken drag washer here. That's probably been a cause of some of the issues. And at least two of them, I'm going to guess, are. All right, well, I got a lot of work to do on this one to bring this one back. But let's just continue to show you how the reel is made then. I do think that I'm going to be able to have the replacement washers for that, and I think the metals will probably be salvaged. So when I get all of this done, we're going to try and make that work as well. All right, well, we popped that up, so we should be able to get that out. You can see that there's a lot of just corrosion and the like that's occurred on the bottom. No doubt that it's been from this piece of pot metal that's been the drag carrier. Once you do that, then you should be able to pull your main gear out, your crosswind block out, your oscillation gear block out, your little clip here is going to hold the rotor in. And then when you take the rotor off, just notice the position of the anti-reverse dog, the spring. Take a picture of that so you know where you are. And in this case, this has got a quick release, which is only going to set that anti-reverse in one side. So as you take that off, notice underneath that it's pointing north and south. When you go to put it on, I almost always get it wrong. So if you go to put it on and it goes on the wrong way, and the anti-reverse does not come back to this point, just flip your rotor 180 degrees. In this case, I have that anti-reverse dog off, but just flip it the other way, and when you come back, it will reset itself. Let's see if I can put that on just to show you. Yeah, so it's in the right position now. So test it before you put that clip back in. All right, so what did we learn? We learned that these reels are not that expensive, and that from time to time some of those, the quality of some of those parts gets in the way of performance. In this case, we've had a failed rear drag system. It failed because we have some broken washers in there, and it's failed because the metal parts are fused with this, whatever this metal is that has caused it. That trapped our axle shaft. It would not allow it to go up and down due to the corrosion. And when that trapped, the reel only went up as far as that travel of that rear drag washer. So I can feel right now you just can't get the rear assembly back in and out, and that's because of the corrosion inside there. This thing should go all the way up and down. This piece should come all the way up to here and then set back, and well, it can't get past here. So we're going to have to see what we can do in terms of finding a rear drag clip. If not, well, this may just be what we call a tuition reel. We will have all learned from it, but unfortunately may not be able to take it fishing again. So I hope you've enjoyed that, and to all first responders and essential personnel, thank you for everything it is that you do. And to everyone, please stay safe, stay well, and stay watching. This is Dennis with Second Chance Tackle. Have a great day.